Welcome to the Healthy and Wealthy and Wise podcast with global sales trainer and professional speaker, Lois Kofi. Each week, it is her goal to share inspiration and education for you to be, do, have the best health and wealth and wisdom for your life.
All right. Well, welcome back, everyone. This is Lois Kofi for another episode of Healthy and Wealthy and Wise. I am so excited here. Here we are at the end of August. I can't believe where did the summer go? I know a lot of us are, in a little bit of a stress mode because a lot of kids are going back to school. 2020 has been crazy, and I brought for today a guest back from my launch, and I'm super excited to have Ben Villers with us again. I'll get to Ben in just a second. I just want to remind you guys, for the first time, if you're tuning in, every week I do a live show, and the goal is to inspire you from across the world with the spoken word and really get you to be encouraged, whether it's about your health, whether it's about your wealth, whether it's some kind of wisdom or knowledge that can really, really impact you. I'm super excited with September right around the corner here. I'm going to be focusing all of September on suicide awareness. So we've got some really, really, really powerful people coming up. And actually, Ben today is a really good person to kick off, kind of leading into that, because, your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health, they all are a part of your own beingness that helps you move through this thing called life. I'm a huge Prince fan, so I always like to say, dearly beloved, we're gathered here today to get through this thing called life, right? And how do you navigate that? And so today I have with me a health and fitness expert. We're actually going to talk a little bit about wealth wisdom as well, because Ben and I have been talking now for a couple months, or maybe, I don't know, did we meet in June? I can't even remember.
I think now, time's going by. No, I think June, April, like May-ish. Yes, May, June. Yeah.
Yep. So Ben is the owner and founder and creator of Jamin Fitness. He's been in the health and fitness industry in one way, shape, or another for over 20 years, and that's how we connected. I have that background as well, and he's really, really passionate about empowering you and equipping you with the right tools to live your best life. And I love having authentic conversations with my guests, and you can find him on Instagram. There's his handle at Jamin_fitness. We'll talk a little bit later about how you can, be more connected with him. But Ben, I know you've been on here before. However, let's just act as if people have never met you before. And why don't you share a little bit about your background, a little bit about your story, and how you got to be where you are today?
So I'm originally from the East Coast. So I've been in LA now for 4.5 years. And I was an athlete growing up. I was from Stamford, Connecticut, so a suburb right outside of New York City. And I was just this guy playing sports, hanging out with friends. So life was good growing up. And then I went to Indiana University, not really with an idea as to what I wanted to do, which is really common. So no pressure if people don't know what to do going into school, right? And I just studied what was interesting to me, which was sports and the human body and the science of the human body. I got funneled into that major. Then I ended up graduating with 2 majors, right? So that's really cool. And then after college, I got my certification as a trainer along with my bachelor's degree in kinesiology, and still didn't know what to do. Just hit that corporate circuit running. Went around that loop quite a bit. Moved to California. I've been here for 4.5 years and just hustled a lot in California to get to where I am today. And it's just created this entire operation I've got going on now.
Yeah, that's awesome. So before I met you, you were in a gym, in a studio. Tell us more about how you've pivoted with your fitness career since COVID.
So much has happened, between March and now, and first couple months, first couple weeks were really stressful. And then I was able to really get my head on my shoulders and think straight when, day after day, there was just nothing on my schedule, right? There was just nothing to do. So I started to calm down because I wasn't going anywhere. So I started to relax when knowing that I had all this time. In the beginning, it was very stressful because I know how everyone is. They want to get things going. They're anxious. So when you've got nothing to do, it's stressful. But when you've got nothing to do for a certain amount of days in a row, it becomes just a whole new thing. You're not really anxious anymore. It's just life. So I was just started just making just natural, conscious decisions that made sense to me, reaching out to my former clientele that I was seeing, my former who I wasn't seeing before that, and just doing the things that I was already planning to do before COVID. Like everything I'm doing now is just accelerated by the amount of time that I have. I didn't like pivot necessarily my business. I was always planning this direction. So it just gave me the time to focus on everything I envisioned for myself for a long time.
That's so cool. I love that. I've you're preaching to the choir here. I've felt that. I've experienced that. I was just on an event, a networking event in India last night, and that was the education, the focus
You got a
that
big
you can
group.
have.
You got a big group in India.
I know. It was 100+ member chapter, so it was amazing, and they were dancing and singing, and they were having fun, and they were making the most out of it, and talking about communicating with clients and customers. Right now, it's so easy to pick up the phone and get connected, and you've created some really cool online classes. You have a podcast now. I mean, you've been in full-on creation mode, and tell us a little bit more about your podcast.
Just launched actually this Wednesday, and that was a whole journey in itself. One a little bit on more of my vulnerable side here. Growing up, people who I knew always considered me like a funny guy, not because like I'm cracking jokes, but because like I'm just like the way I like talk and the way that I present myself can sometimes be very funny. So people have always been like, like if you had your own show, I would literally watch it and laugh. Like literally if you had a show rating this, I would watch your show, right? So it's always been something in the back of my mind because people have always kind of joked, like laughed at me, with me, whatever you want to say, right? And then, there's so many podcasts out there that I feel like I just always wanted that. I'm not much of a writer, more of a speaker and a visual and a hearing guy. So writing a blog wasn't necessarily something I wanted to do. And then when I became a fitness trainer, it just makes so much sense to have that so you're able to connect with people. So the first step for me was getting the brawn to do the podcast, full on commit to it, go from the I want to do this to I'm doing this phase, which is a big difference. And then once I started recording the first couple episodes behind the scenes, the reality of how do I continuously do this and continuously create content became a thought process. So I had to come up with a streamlined process to create episode after episode after episode after episode if you want it to be legit. Eventually got through that process, and once I was just confident in putting myself out there, not really caring about the perception of people viewing me, and then committing to making the content, because I think the worst thing is saying you're going to do something and then not doing it. So having a podcast and then just like stopping after a couple episodes shows, in my opinion, shows a lot about that person. It shows a lot about that person. So I don't want to be that. And now I'm at a point where I feel like I'm fully committed. I'm fully in. I've got a very good process, and I think it's going to be a great thing for me, and hopefully people enjoy viewing. So definitely excited about it.
I'm super proud of you, because there is a statistic out there, and I might be off a few percentage points, but about 70% of the people who start a podcast don't really continue past the 3-month mark, or they just don't really know. And I know I hired a coach because I didn't want to be that person either. And, finish what you start. I love your vulnerability, sharing your beingness, I call it, out into the world is terrifying. I now am 2 months in and giving you, kudos, because I was terrified. Like I was scared shitless. I'm just going to be honest with you, and pushing through your fear and doing it anyway has been able to allow me to elevate and
Well, I'm also a DJ and MC here in Los Angeles, and that was something I created here for myself in Los Angeles, and that practice helps speed up the podcast process, no doubt, because I've now put myself in front of people at live events now numerous amounts of times. So, working on my speaker voice, which is different from your casual voice, and your, so it's so crazy how so many viewers view podcasts and shows and art, and they love it and they wish that they can do that, but not really realizing how hard and how much work it is to do these things. Like doing this podcast takes a lot of work. It looks fun because we know what we're doing and we're used to being in these environments, but throw someone new onto this podcast, they're probably fumbling around a lot on this, right? So,
well, and I love the failing forward methodology is just and it's not even fake it till you make it. It's just imperfect action moving forward. So now that you are, what are we, 4, 5, 6 months into COVID? What are all like the, because this is Healthy and Wealthy and Wise, and I know last time we had you, we just strictly talked about nutrition and health, but you and I are both passionate about that health and wealth connection, because you can't have amazing health and just focus on all of that and then be broke, right? And there's a lot of wealthy people who want to focus on money, just run, go, and then they lose their health, and then they're spending all their money to get healthy again. So there's the yin and the yang, that balancing act, right? So I know you're a millennial, right? And you're already thinking big picture. So tell us a little bit more about how you've been building out different streams of income. I always love to share stories on that.
It's a step-by-step building process. It really is a grind. It's a journey. It's a marathon. And you have to love the process of consistency day in and day out. A lot of people see the reason why my vision made so much more sense to everyone else, and why a lot of people are reaching out to me in positivity and really happy for me. I'm not surprised with what I'm doing at all. And it's because it makes a lot of sense. Like a lot of the work, a lot of affiliate residual streamline income work is a front end process that just needs to be done in the front end. So like I'm a fitness trainer, right? And ideally in a perfect fitness world, you're training clients in the morning and then the evening, and in the afternoons you're got free time, right? You're dividing an 8-hour day into 2 separate 4-hour days, essentially, right? That's like the traditional 101. So when building a stream of income, I had that whole middle of the day to consistently work on everything I needed to do to set up my affiliate, my residual streamlines of income. So now I'm able to, I'm training a client in the morning, but I'm ringing in e-commerce sales at the same time while I'm training my clients, because I use the middle of the day to put in the work to get that set up. It's a lot of work. That's the thing. What's crazy about the whole e-commerce affiliate marketing business, it's actually more work than being a trainer or even your classic 9-to-5. The difference is it's just a completely different style of business where you have to put in a ton of work in the front end, but then you watch the results come in. And if the results come in huge, then the returns are massive, right? So it's not necessarily a salary or an hourly. So it's a step-by-step process, very well calculated, and really just hacking at it day by day, really.
It's awesome. You're compartmentalizing your, it's like us right now. I mean, if any parents out there, can I get an amen on this? Now we're homeschooling, distance learning, whatever you call it. And my husband and I, thankfully, we are a good team. So you single parents out there, I don't even know how you're doing it. But like right now, I'm here with you. I was grading my son's writing homework about an hour ago, and now my husband's got the kids and taking care of them, and so we're juggling, right? And I'm also building a new affiliate stream of income, and I've got all of these other irons in the fire. But I was like you, when thankfully before I had kids, I started that big picture dream of what can I add as a stream of income now. For me, first it was network marketing, and then they got those humming along. And this year I was like, I want to check out this affiliate marketing space. So I know what I would say, but I'd love to get your thoughts. And when you were looking for affiliate streams of income or e-commerce, did you have a clear picture of what you were looking for, and what kind of advice could you give to our audience? Because there's a lot of people, guys, if you're listening, I don't know where you're at. If you're hurting financially, obviously we have health issues, and financial issues are rampant this year in 2020. The suicide rate is high. Someone told me this the other day, Ben, and this is why you're so important to this planet right now, is because the biggest words that are getting searched now on Google that are up like 80% are anxiety, suicide, depression, mental health, right? And a lot of that, yes, it's part of the physical being, but I think that financial piece has impacted a lot of people's physical well-being. So your advice right now on how to find those right affiliate or other streams of income could be very valuable. So I'm going to shut up and let you take over on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's, there are a lot of people hurting right now, and it really stinks, and it sucks to be thriving in an environment that is so shitty right now. And I truly feel that way, and I don't want things to be the way they are, the way they're happening, right? Like, looking back on 2020, it's going to be one of the most epic years of my life, but in a completely different way, right? And it's going to be a shame that in that same year, the world got flipped upside down. And it was all like, yes, there's a lot of luck involved with a lot of things that people do, but it's not luck. It's all hustle. I literally set myself up to be in a good position when this went down. And that's how you find these affiliate programs, because you don't find them on Google. You don't find them. They don't come just smacking you across the face, except they do come smacking you across the face when you go out and make things happen. So all of the affiliate links and all of the business I've picked up residually has literally been saying yes to every job, waking up at any hour and staying up however late and sacrificing my time to do what I had to do, right? So for anyone who's trying to find an opportunity, that's what it takes. That's what it takes. And then eventually these affiliate opportunities, they just came naturally step by step. And you just have to recognize them and realize that you've earned this opportunity. You've earned it through the work and the hustle that you do. A lot of people say they work hard. I'm a hard worker, but that's just an easy cop-out answer. Have you built a reputation that you will be there at 4 a.m, no matter what? Well, did you build a reputation that you'll be at this event 2 hours early, no matter what? Because they know you'll be there, right? You know you're a hard worker when people know you as a hard worker, like on the dot, right? And that's the best advice I can get, is you just have to keep working hard, because I've been super poor on my own in dark times as of just recent. And it flips like a switch. Your life can change in a switch. It can go from shit to different in 24 hours. In 24 hours, and that's so true. And people don't believe that, because unfortunately you got to stream days and weeks and months of dark times before you eventually find the light. But that can happen in a second, right? A good example is money, right? Your bank account is shit. you're in credit card debt, you're in red, and all of a sudden you got paid, and a big payday, and now how happy do you feel instantaneously? Instantaneously, the entire situation has flipped, right? When COVID started, a few days before, we didn't think that was going to be one of the last gym sessions of the year back in March. We didn't think that. But in 24 hours, everything changed, and now new opportunities came. So these affiliate links only come through hard work, because if you Google search it, it's not going to be the same as if you've earned it and now you're really sticking to pushing it on people. It's totally different.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're speaking my language. There's no such thing as an overnight success, guys. I've said this before. You don't have to be great to start. You do have to start to be great. So drawing that line in the sand, you drew that line in the sand somewhere along the dark road, right? And said, I'm going to change. Things are going to change. In order for things to change, you had to pivot. And thankfully, like me, we both pivoted long before, I think, based on what I'm hearing you say, before COVID-19 came into our new normal, our new universe. And you talked a lot about, even though you didn't say the words, just, time blocking, making the mental commitment. And I'm gonna guess, you tell me, but I know for me, for my affiliate streams of income, I have had mentors who introduced me and kind of coached me along the way. Do you have mentors who've helped and kind of guide you? Like you said, I didn't Google my affiliate programs either.
No, Google cannot replace the years of experience that one person has. A Google answer is literally a simple, factual question, like a yes or no style question, right? A good example is weight loss, right? You can't just Google weight loss, right? You can find like one little couple things about weight loss and go down a rabbit hole, but there's a difference between that and then working with the trainer who's giving you similar advice, but done it through 25 years of experience, right? And that's where a lot of my mentors are. So I've got multiple mentors, and that's not even including my parents, right? So that's like the obvious, of course, shout out to the parents, the GOAT mentor, okay? But overall, like my real mentors didn't start becoming eye-popping relevant until really about 1.5, 2 years into California. So when my true real-life mentors started to really stick out, and it was just my last couple of bosses, essentially. It was just, my one mentor was who gave me an additional opportunity in California, who is a self-made millionaire, right? So there's a difference between someone who's inherited millions and then a self-made millionaire. That's a completely different wiring in the brain. So learning from him and helping grow his business out here in California and watching it grow in the untraditional way that it did made me learn that you can do business and make money in untraditional methods, which is a totally different way of thinking than most people who just look for a job. Never in my imagination would I have been like, I forgot what it's like to look for a 9-to-5 job, for sure. That will never happen again for me, for sure. And that company and that ownership and that style of startup was a huge mentorship. He was my boss, but that was like one of the best job opportunities I ever had, for sure. No doubt.
That's awesome. I love that. So
that's just one.
So being able to, guys, if you're hopefully you're taking some nuggets from this, and I have it on the screen. If you want to ask questions, this is the live version. If you're listening to the replay, I'll make sure you get Ben's amazing contact info, and his. We'll talk a little bit more about what he's giving away as a free gift today. Is there any other advice that you have for anyone right here, right now, that you found in these last 6 months that if you could go back and tell yourself 6 months ago, granted that's not very long ago, but what would you say to someone who is in your position as of 6 months ago, might be in that position right here, right now, other than what we've already talked about?
Yeah, I don't know. That's tough. That's tough because I really was. At the time, I didn't realize it, but I was prepared for this pandemic. I was a lot more prepared for this pandemic than I thought. And part of it was because I was about like a year and a half into my business full time, right? Like if you're starting a business right now, good luck, because it's going to be insanely tough. The people who the people who benefited the absolute most in this pandemic were the people who are just a couple years into what they're doing, right? And like when this all happened, like they didn't have to look for a job. They're just like ready to go. Like they're ready. Like I didn't have to pivot anything. I just tweaked a couple of things and I was off and running. So my best advice for someone, now, right? So one thing I can definitely say is if you've been saying I'm gonna do this, just stop and do it like right now. Because so when I used to work at my last job, actually, I think this is really important. I was deciding between quitting and starting my own business, right? And part of my mindset was, should I like just wait this out a year and get this experience and then move on, right? Had I done a year at that company, I would only be a couple months into my business and then COVID would have happened.
Wow.
Then where would I be now had I stuck out that 1 year of experience, which is pointless at this point now, right? I decided, you know what? I'm not going to wait a year. I need the experience right now. So I quit my job and I started my company. A year and a half in, COVID happens, and now I'm thriving. So start what you want to do now if you'll get the opportunity to start tomorrow.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Why wait? Right. JFDI, just freaking do it.
Integration and people being like, oh, I'm busy. Like I get that, but you gotta make something happen. It's as simple as that.
Well, it reminds me too, I can so resonate with your story. Like a year ago, we moved to California this week, a year ago, and started all over. A lot of people.
Anniversary.
Thank you. And a lot of people think that I was crazy. And guess what? Looking back now, we could have had our doubts, and it did seem impossible. Trust me, if I don't have time to tell the whole story, but it totally seemed impossible to move our family across the country. My husband still had a very good paying job. I was relaunching, my speaking business and all of that. And we just came totally on faith, just like you. And we are now so grateful because we for surely are way, 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 way ahead had we suck it out in the Midwest. Awesome place, but we would be in a much different position right now. And I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine.
I think there's a time and a place to stick out an opportunity and acquire the experience and then just stop what you're doing right now and walk out the door. It just totally depends on what your goal is, what you're trying to do, and how you want to do it. And that's how I made my decision. And I guess that's essentially how you made your decision too.
A lot of it had to, come from an intuitive place. Like if you're really still and honest with yourself, that's been, and that's what I coach people on all the time, is really truly just reflecting every day and saying, am I where I want to be? And if not, what can I change tomorrow? And in some cases, like for you, it was quitting that situation. And for us, it was moving our lives across the country. And you've done that too. So what I'd like to do as we wrap it up here is tell them about your free offer, how they can find that. And then I have just one more closing question for you.
So during this time, I started a group fitness business. I've always been a group fitness instructor in person, but I always wanted to have my own business, and now I do. And it's an online group training business, and my class is free every Saturday. So anyone who's looking to work with a trainer, you can literally work with me every single Saturday. In addition, if you're a ClassPass member, you've got a ClassPass subscription, right, which is free. You get one for free. There's live stream group offers all over the country, right, including mine. So if you're a member of ClassPass, you can get my classes for free all week if you're a member of ClassPass.
Awesome. They can connect with you again. I shared this earlier at Jamin_fitness, and that's JAM as in Mary, IN, 1N as in Nancy _fitness. I'll have that in the show notes as well. And any other places they can find you before I forget?
I'm everywhere, really, like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Google, like everywhere. So anyone who's trying to reach me can.
I love it. I love it. I love your Instagram presence and, of course, Facebook. So, guys, I always close it out with this question, and then I'll share my upcoming shows. So, Ben, when you hear the phrase healthy and wealthy and wise, in summary, what does that mean for you?
That sounds like, some fine wine to me is what that sounds like. That sounds like someone sipping by their fire in their lavish cabin, wise as hell, healthy, and very smart with the moves they've made. That's what I think about.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna make some wine someday, and I'm gonna call it healthy and wealthy and wise, and I'm gonna ship it to you. Okay. I think that's
wise, healthy, just doing all the right things.
That is awesome. Well, Ben, thank you so much for coming back, being a repeat guest and taking time out of your amazingly full and healthy and wealthy and wise life. And I just want to give you guys a quick couple of announcements. Number one, next week, and this is something near and dear to my heart, if you know people who are struggling with mental health right now, who have gone through suicidal attempts or anything like that, September is Suicide Awareness Month. It also happens to be my birthday month. It also happens to have been my mom's birthday, and she just passed this year. And we went through a horrific mental health journey with her. And so we're bringing in guests next month. Every week after week, and even some bonus guests to really help boost your lives with encouragement and talk about people who've overcome real obstacles. So next week, Nicole Boone is going to be kicking that off, and she's a self-made millionaire at age 35, a mother of two, and she's transgendered from a man to a woman not too long ago, and she's overcome a lot of pain and suffering through that transition and through that journey. So I'm really excited to kick the month off with that. And then last but not least, if you know people, I'm also doing a class next week. You can go to listbuildwithlois.com, helping people who are hurting right now in their business. They don't know where to begin in their email marketing and email campaigns and how to grow and develop that side of their life in this new normal. It's almost, I would have to say, necessary for a lot of businesses. I see businesses closing week after week, and a lot of times it's because they didn't have the skills that Ben and I possess now in helping you get to that next level. So thanks again, guys, for tuning in. If you're not already a part of my Healthy and Wealthy and Wise Facebook community, please go to Facebook, join my Healthy and Wealthy and Wise Facebook community, a place where you'll find Ben and all of my guest speakers who are here to help you live your best life. Until next time, here's to your best health, your best wealth, and your best wisdom. Bye-bye for now.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, refer a friend, and please drop me a rating or a review. If you do that, I'll reward you with a free 20-minute free coaching session on crafting your journey to your best self. Reach out to me at lois@loiscoffee.com to claim your 20-minute slot. Until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.